So, thank you very much to Ivana and this yet another outstanding panel. And I was very interested in hearing about how bias is something that we need to find, to describe, and to measure if we are in some way able then to correct it and improve the quality of what machines are doing. Claudia was reassuring in saying that there's a lot of research in this. But there are two things I would like to highlight now, which are a nice segue into the next part of the meeting, the conference. Professor Witt said AI can help put all European languages on an equal footing, regardless of by how many people they are spoken. And also, Claudia warned us about ethnocentricity, about AI being defined by, for example, someone in the US and then being applied worldwide. And I think that as the EU, we know we're proud about our own multilingualism, but there are other continents which are also very multilingual. One which is just across the shores of the Mediterranean. And our next speaker is indeed a champion of language diversity and multilingualism. And he will be telling us something about how AI can contribute to global linguistic inclusivity, particularly in this very large continent just across the shore. Three things you need if you want to be a simultaneous So I give the floor to David Orlič.
Can I? Yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone. Something completely different, right? We've got 8 minutes to go through a couple of slides. And let's start immediately, right? Okay. So I'm with IRCAI, which is the International Research Center in AI, under the auspices of UNESCO, based in Slovenia. And essentially, to start off, this is my mom. As you can see, she's a gangster. This is my dad, who is a gangster. And this is the book that I bought me for my 45th birthday this year. They don't give me money anymore. They give me books. I'm too old, apparently. So before the coffee gets cold is a tale set in a small Tokyo cafe where visitors can travel through time under strict rules, right? So which are the rules? The time travel takes place in a specific seat. Number 2, you can only travel within the same cafe. Number 3, you can only meet people who have visited the cafe. You cannot change the present. And you must finish your coffee before it gets cold. So the way to go to the past or the future is through the coffee. You have a coffee. So one-time travel per person. There's no 2 times. You can just do it once. So what is the catch? Bittersweet twist on time travel, you can visit the past or future, but you cannot change the present, right? And what is the joke? The irony built into the central premise, you can time travel, but nothing changes, except potentially you when you come back, right? So your opinion would have changed, your experience would have changed. So what was the attempt, right, that we did in AI? So in 2018, we started an initiative that promotes the use of AI to address development changes, which was still called AI for D, particularly the Global South, and especially in Africa with colleagues in Africa. So language was a priority, and we had a fairly small budget of 200,000 euros, more or less. The result, what did we achieve with that? So we funded mainly data sets for what you would call now low resource languages, such as Iwi, Chichewa, Fongbe, Twi, and so on. Keep in mind that these are massive, massive languages. They have a massive amount of speakers. Now the program has 45 million euros until 2029, and US donors are setting up an African AI language hub. The reality that I see, AI made it possible to decolonize science as well as languages, or mainly through languages. And there's a leap forward in African NLP, which would have been natural language processing, research on over 40 African languages that we've done, that I've experienced. But this is going to be supercharged to 500 languages in the next 4 or 5 years. So you're looking at a massive onboarding and digitalization of languages in Africa. So this would have been more or less the map of all of the countries that we've been, so should I say, AI researchers, our colleagues across the continent that we've been working with. If you look carefully, the average funding per participant in Horizon 2020, right, which would have been a total of 70 billion euros distributed among, let's say, 40,000 participants, was approximately 2 million euros, right? So we had 87% less than that, right, with 200K. But of course, we're sitting on the shoulders of giants, and a lot of stuff was made already before, so we were able to use a lot of that. So I would encourage you to check a startup, an African startup called Lilapa AI, which does language technologies. Colleagues of mine in South Africa. And I would advise you to check the Mastercard Research Foundation, which is a grassroots team of probably 1,000 people, if not more, working with, like, these are literally the results. But if I would go to the past, I would go to the workshop that I was running in Nairobi in 2019, and I would probably catch up with all of these people because they're fantastic. But I would surely come to Kathleen and Vukosi and Tajumade, and I would say, whatever you guys did in 2019, it did pay off. You were in your 20s or whatever, and whatever you decided at that workshop that I maybe did understand, maybe I didn't understand, but you definitely made the right choice, and you can yield now. You can see now the yield and the investment, the returns on those, should I say, investments. If I would go in the future, I'd probably go to Brussels, well, just across the street probably on Monday, not today. Today's Friday, so we're finished. And I would probably just say to someone, anyone who would want to listen to me, I would probably say, can we try in Europe a new attempt? Can we try and devise a European Digital Marshall Plan for AI for African languages? Can we join the table? Can we pitch in? Can we fund? Can we actually connect the European digital single market with the future African one? It's a massive economy. So could the new reality be breaking the language barrier between the continents, as African languages will prove to be important for EU economies? The future, we don't really know the future. We can model it with AI. We can see what geopolitics is doing. But can we also see another future through the connection with languages? But in full honesty, I would go back in time and I would visit my friend Manan, have a joke with him. Thank you. And my question is, I invite you to think of who would you visit if you would have a chance to go, either in the past or in the future. Obviously, having a coffee in your own mother language. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davor. Once again, a completely different format, lovely informal chat, and also a new perspective on, well, a place we haven't really given much thought to so far. I was struck by the relatively small investment that was made with a considerable result, and indeed the appeal that followed to see if we can have some kind of Marshall Plan for AI in Africa, and join forces not only for languages, but also looking at the markets that are involved. And, well, thank you again also about telling us about decolonizing languages and breaking down barriers for all those involved. And I think the time has come now for a well-deserved coffee break. Feel free to stretch your legs, talk to your neighbors, and catch up with known or new faces maybe. And we will resume at 11:20 sharp. See you then. There are three things you need if you want to be a simultaneous.